Hey plumber fans, so I'm gonna go through a little tour, a tour of the tool bag. This is stuff that I purchase and that I use. Everything in here I use, and that's why I carry. And it probably weighs good 60 pounds anyway. I did weigh it one time, and I've since removed some things out of there. But I did weigh it one time. It was 80 pounds. So it doesn't weigh that much anymore, but it does accumulate, I guess, some weight in once in a while. Most of the times I leave my pipe wrenches in the van. Most of the time, unless I know I'm going to need it, and then it goes into the bag just for the job. So it's not a bad. We're really having a shitty, mild winter in Canada this month. Next month I'm hoping we'll see some snow. I love the mayhem of the snow. I don't like the warm winter, so, but that's a tester, my multimeter thingy. Of course, we've got Moretz and odds and ends in this bag that just get put in there. But I'm gonna get them all out of there because they do have a place. And what I usually do when I'm doing a let's get you a picture of this. So what I do is every once in a while I'll just take this whole bag and I'll just dump it. The best thing to do, really. So, but this is everything that's in it. There's probably a couple of things in there too that just got removed out of the bag for some reason and end up in the in my little milk crate there. I bought these chainies because I saw the crescent on them, like I think they're crescent chain lock. I never had them for a couple of months and they're already like seizing up a little bit. I gotta clean them up. That's what I'm gonna do also, is clean them up. Hopefully they work better. If not, I'm gonna go order myself a set of Nipix ones, or Pinipix, or whatever the fuck you call it. And believe it or not, I find this is the best way to do it. So then you can see what you're putting back and what can go somewhere else. And take out the garbage. So you want yourself a good Allen key set. I love these ones. They're strong. Even the smaller ones, the 1/8, which is mostly what we use is the 1/8, but these ones here, I don't know who makes them. I picked them up at the local MCO here in Sydney. Yeah, and they're my favorite ones thus far. So maybe stick them back in here as we're going, I guess, eh? That's where I like to have those. Actually, I like to have the little ones in the front. I use the little ones mostly. Get yourself, these are by Milwaukee. They're nut drivers, but they're hollow shaft. And they're the best things for if you're threading up 3/8 nuts or whatever, or 1/2 inch nuts or whatever. They'll go right up into whatever it is you're screwing into, and secure them, and you don't have to take another tool and to tighten them down. You can just use this. So get yourself hollow shaft nut drivers. They're the best things on going. And I have a couple of sizes that I just, no matter what, keep. I use the 7/16 a lot. I use the 1/2 inch a lot, and I use the 9/16 a lot. The 3/8 once in a while I'll use it, but like once a year maybe. But I keep it in there anyway. Doesn't add too much. Get yourself a good long flathead screwdriver for prying things mostly. I use it for when I'm smashing out ABS flanges. They're really good for that. These here, like, you see how stuck they are? And I had a wire brush here somewhere. I'll use this. I hate doing this to my fitting brushes, but it was already ruined the other day by Bailey. He used it on doing the same thing for something, and fucking got after him for it. Slides a lot better. It might have been just rust, I guess, but that started like pretty much right away when I first bought them. Fucker. Get yourself some of this. My old driller in Oklahoma, he used to call WD-40 pusher's piss. And it was a funny saying, so I still call it that. Sometimes I'll even call it fitter's piss. A little better. Hopefully it'll get better. Get yourself a good hammer. I had a DeWalt one forever. I don't know where it ended up, but it ended up somewhere. I like the framing hammer, so you can just really come on to shit and persuade things to work out. Couple of various sizes of channel locks. That's what you want. It's not a one size fits all thing. Get yourself a reamer if you're doing a lot of ABS. Even a little bit of ABS is really good on the fit ups. A set of wide jaw adjustable wrench. I like the Raptor ones. They spread out the widest, but they also don't slip. I had a set of wide jaw Milwaukees, and those slipped. These do not slip for some reason. Get yourself level. Mine has grade on it. So a good set of basin wrench. It's a real. I have a bigger basin wrench also. That stays out of the box, out of the tool bag. I mean, but get yourself one of these. It is starting to get a little sticky. This is my favorite wrench to do difficult things, I guess. It'll expand out. Right? And sometimes I'll put another backup wrench on that if I'm getting in the area where it's tight. You can use your the other end of any wrench really, except for this one. It's a really tight fit, but if you got the leverage, you can do that. A must-have for a plumber's bag. Set of tubing cutters. Make sure the wheels are good. I got these for cutting stuff when I'm in a jam, really. I usually don't have that blade on. I barely put that blade on for some reason. PEX cutters, must have. Get yourself, I like the DeWalt chisel. This is beat the shit, and the reason why is I don't hardly use it for wood. I'll use it for concrete mostly, and I'm usually just pounding the hell out of it. But it's got an edge on it where you can use the hammer on it. So if you're just chopping something like that, and it usually gets it really good. Smooth jaw adjustables, a must-have if you're doing a lot of commercial. It's good for the chrome. You're not scarring up your chrome fixtures when you're doing maintenance work on them. I don't know how that got in there. I don't even know who owns it. Basket wrench or basket, whatever that is, get you out of jam. The old Moen valve puller. A rigid reamer. These are this is really big in the hand, and when I first got it, I have carpal, so it was really sore, but it's also not sore anymore, so it kind of like made me stronger, and so the carpal really doesn't affect me that much anymore, because especially if I use that a lot. Get yourself a tester pen for electrical. You want yourself a little set of Allen keys also. Just Joe Jam if you're in there. I have a file. I always have a file, and you'll never appreciate how much you use it until you put one in your bag. So it's a really good have. I have a set of security screwdrivers. So you see those in commercial a lot, where battery compartments for flush valves and stuff like that, or all those weird screws, security screws they call them. So you got to have that. Usually in there. Usually there. I have a set of small Milwaukee adjustables. Another tiny set of Milwaukee adjustables. I'll always have that in the bag. It's my 10-inch, I think it's a 10. Yeah, 10-inch pipe wrench. Set of wire strippers. This is a long handle Phillips. I do occasionally use that. So, goes in there. Cutters for Cellcore ABS pipe. Best damn things ever. For Cellcore pipe anyway. If you use it on regular Schedule 40 ABS pipe, it a lot of times it breaks the blades and it gives you kind of a crooked cut. But for Cellcore stuff, it's really good. I like it. Another level for nipples. I just stick that on something, or even black iron pipe mostly. And I've gone ahead. I have a couple of these, so I cut the handles off to get me into close spaces, so I can just snap it on there and just turn it with usually a basin wrench, or I can get my hands on it. It's good for tight areas if you just cut the handle off. And I use that a lot too. Get yourself a small and a large square, feed square. I always got some plumber's putty. And I always got some silicone. I used to carry these here are close quarter cutters, but for some reason my supplier can't bring in stainless steel wheels, so I'll put a new wheel on this and it'll get chewed up in 1 or 2 times that I use it. So until they can get me stainless steel wheels, I have to go back to using the rigid close cutter for close cuts, I guess. I hope they get the wheels back soon, but let's get yourself a set of close cutters also. Tiny little hacksaw. I use that for cutting closet bolts, metal or the nylon ones. Keyhole saw for sheetrock, and for anything else I cut wood. Should always have a utility knife on you. We've got tons of markers. Another Raptor wrench. Now here's my knife. I always have a bimetal blade on it. My saw, it's not a knife, it's a saw. This is great when I'm in a jam and I can't find my regular nut drivers, because I always forget I have this, and if I forget a nut, if I'm doing furnace work or whatever and I want to take some smoke pipe off and have a look or whatever, for some reason that's the only time I find this and use them, but it's not all the time. More markers. Get yourself, this is the Milwaukee one. It's my favorite so far. It's a 4-in-1 precision screwdriver set. Get yourself those. And these are Torx. I've had these for like 15 years now. I've never had to buy them. I've only ever used them a handful of times, but they're great in a jam. tiny little pipe wrench. I made a video of this a few months ago, what I use it for. I use it for handles, but I mostly use it for screws that I round off when I'm trying to remove them. So if I can get it out of the base wood or concrete, whatever I'm using, I can get that pipe wrench on and just back it out. It's the handiest thing. You want to keep your solder out of the bag, but for some reason it always ends up back in there. Now this is handy. So this is for tightening down a CR valve. So I have this on the CR valve and an angled one anyway, and I would have this inside of the 3/8 coming out of the angle, and it would just wrench like that, or like that really. But they're good. Of course, measuring tape. Got a paint stick. And this is for pounding in concrete anchors. You drill a hole, and you put your anchor in, and you smash the bottom of that with a hammer, and it secures your anchor into the concrete. This is a super handy little wrench, and you can put if you're in a tight jam and you got to work with your hand, and you can't get a full 1/4 inch drive bit into wherever you're working, and you're or 5/8, I mean, or 3/8, 5/16, sorry, and you're trying to do a Fernco or an MJ coupling. This is a great little thing to get into tight spots. Another level. Never have too many levels. We could, but I haven't reached that point yet. Just a couple of odds and ends. Really. I got a wrench set. Now keep whatever wrench I have for the hollow shaft nut drivers. I also have wrenches for. It goes up here actually. Pencils are very important. Make sure you have a few pencils. My actually favorite pencil's not in here. I don't know where it went. I don't know, I guess the inside diameter pipe wrench, if you're ever in a jam. I've used them a few times for getting corroded shower elbows out of shower stub outs out of walls, and the 1/2 inch one will just go inside, and you can go backwards and it'll back out the broken off thread that's in there. Good to have. Good to have. Good jam. I can't say enough about this one. For sinks, it's pretty much all I use now. You can use it for just about anything. If there's a CR valve whose handle is hard to get, this will go into over the handle, and you can just use this with the extra leverage to undo it. This will do the retaining plastic thingies that hold the taps down to the base. Get at that, and of course, this does the nut for the water, for your water supply. But it also does 3/8, and mostly when I'm doing sinks, I just use this. If I'm removing the old one and putting on a new one, I'll use with this, but mostly for the 3/8 side, I'm just using that and doing it by hand. There's a lot of leverage on it. You can really tighten shit down. And I don't know how that ended up in there, but that's my retractable screwdriver. You buy one of these, you stop buying these. So it's 35 bucks on Amazon. They disappeared out of our local stores here about 6 years ago, and I just found one on Amazon a few months ago, and I just ordered it, and it's been in my bag since. So really handy screwdriver to have. I think that's called a Silcock key. I'm not sure. They call it a Zern key here. It's for commercial buildings for the outdoor taps, the hose bibs, I guess. So that's, each side has a different size key on it, but that's what that's for. And the rest is just odds and ends. And the odds and ends can really build up. Of course, we have L16 connectors and angle ones. That's where I usually put those, and the extra blades that we never ever use. We just buy new knives, and so I got another extra precision one. I've actually required to buy these one time, and yeah, I've actually needed the extra small screws just to pull remotes apart and shit like that. I was looking for that and I can never find it. So I think that's it, pretty much it. Get yourself some shark bite caps, end caps for getting you out of a jam. You never know when you're going to need those, and they come in handy when you do need them. There's another part of this that wrench, and I'll find it in a little bit. But yeah, that's the tour, and pretty much it. So that's the tour of the bag, but this is a big no-no. Keeping that in your tool bag. I've lost so many tools over since I started plumbing over this. Because what happens is when you get in a rush, like this is closed now, it's good, but sometimes things puncture it also. But a lot of times when we're in a rush, we don't close these all the way. You put them in the tool bag, the glue spills out, and everything after it hardens is pretty much a write-off after that, because it's all just glued solid, I guess. So try to keep these out of your bags in a safer area. That's probably not much safer there, but it's out of the bag. And if you add up all of the costs of this bag, including the bag, it's thousands of dollars sometimes. I think I did it one time. It ended up being like over $2,000 in tools. That was after I learned to not haul so much around. But yeah, it ends up being a lot. There's a you'll see some saws in there that I used to carry around. Also, I don't do that anymore. And I'm going to go through these also, and probably there's a couple of more things that'll probably end up back in this bag. But yeah, keep the glue out of your bag. just a little extra flange scraper. That's what I call it. It's a putty knife. But when you remove a toilet and a wax seal, that's what I use to clean off the flange. This has its own pocket in my tool bag, and it's always right there. Because you don't, sometimes I don't clean it off the best, and if you put it in anything else or in there, it just gets all over everything, and you're getting wax all over, shitty wax too, all over your hand. So it has its own pocket in my tool bag all the time. So I did find the other half of that red wrench too, and I just lifted up the bag. Everything else will get put away into the bins for future use, or I'll just throw it all in the garbage. Well, except for the Pro Press fittings. Those will go back in the bins. Yeah. Now, when you're doing service work, it's important to try to keep the area clean especially when you're done. So I always have garbage bags. I go through a lot of those. I always have rags and a collapsible bucket. The collapsible bucket is probably the best thing you're ever going to have. And I'm always buying the bleach cleaner, the FX cleaner. I find it's better to leave the place bleachy clean when I'm done working. I always have a box of rubber gloves. They too tend to get beat up while riding the back until we're waiting to go back into that. Bailey made that. It's pretty cool holder. Get yourself a knee pad, not knee pads, but a kneeling pad. Because knee pads, you're not going to want to wear those all the time. But if you have that with you all the time, it's going to save you. You're going to appreciate it. Years down the road, when you're my age and your knees aren't that bad a shape compared to a couple other guys that you see hobbling around. So always protect your knees when you're working, because that's most of our job is working on our knees, and yeah, it really sucks if you don't take care of them when you're 50, 55 years old and you can't hardly walk. So it's just a few things that I carry. I have a little tiny plunger here also to get you out of the... Sometimes the plunger works, sometimes it doesn't, but it's good. It's a good gamble. Yeah, so Pure Flow press thingy. I got the 3/4 in here somewhere also. Oh, it's right there in front of me. Little wrench for filter housings, and that's pretty much it. That's what you're going to want to stock your service vehicle with. I also have a vacuum. I don't hardly ever use that, but it's good for hot changing valves, because you just swap the valve out, put the vacuum on while you're getting ready to put the new valve on, and the water goes in there instead of all over the house. If you're quick enough, you don't get too much anyway. But yeah, just a little tour, boys. Take care. Have a good rest of the Sunday.